Only doing
That's good. Easy.
Good evening. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
yes, we can hear you.
Ayowale, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Tony,
We can hear you, sir.
let's try and wait for the others.
Can hear you, sir.
Where's everybody today now? Why are people not joining? What's happening?
Maybe they've gone for enjoyment or something.
I really
But I know
enjoying
they
it.
will come soon.
What do you say?
They will come soon. And maybe you drop message in the WhatsApp group so that they will know class has started.
Someone has already done that.
Okay.
So before the others join, anybody has any issue, question?
Class for that calculation. So I don't know if there's any preferred day, though somebody has put me through the calculation. So I was able to get to a point, but the other ones I'm not yet clear about it.
Like which ones?
From I was able to get to let me get my books. Hold on. Let me get my book. Somebody is on video. I don't know. Are we on video or something?
Everybody can do whatever they want, you know. It's a free space. You want to do, you want to feel yourself too, no problem.
Well, I was just asking because I've never seen anybody on video before. Okay. For my calculation, I was able to get to how to calculate the binary. But after that binary, where we usually get
Where you usually get what?
where we usually get from I don't know how to explain that area. But after the calculation of the binary, how to get the binary from after that one, the next one, I didn't understand it, so I can't really explain it.
I think we are doing makeup class for this stuff here. So we are going to pick a date according to what is said.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking
So,
about.
maybe we should pick.
I think maybe you guys are good with it already.
No,
I think you should pick a date
maybe we
for
should
us.
pick Wednesday.
When?
Maybe we should pick Wednesday night. Wednesday night.
What time Wednesday? My day is always choked though, so
8.
I would prefer Saturday would be okay.
We'll be having
What if Saturday is not too okay?
What? You said something.
Ethical or any other class?
we have ethical hacking class on Saturday, except if you are going to do it in the morning or probably the time that will be different from ethical hacking class. So I think we can do it Wednesday or Friday. Friday we'll be having class. So let us just look at it. If you are doing it on Saturday, it should be probably in the morning.
What time in the morning? I go to the gym Saturdays.
let's say 9 or 10 in the day.
I think 10
I
should be
think
okay.
I think we all need to, you know, agree on a time. You understand? We can't just fix a time and all the other persons are not aware. So I think we should all
Everybody
agree
does not understand
on a
like me. I was
particular
thinking
time.
we are going
Maybe
to be
when
few.
everybody is settled and they are all in attendance, we should just agree on a particular time for Saturday. I think that's better.
I was thinking we are few that did not understand. So we'll just have one day and don't know we are
No,
much.
as it stands, I think we have new people in attendance, and also even for myself too. You get still need to brush myself up as regard that. So that's just it.
What happened to Wednesday nights? Can you guys be available Wednesday nights?
Time?
Let's say 7 or 8. Let's say 8.
8 is fine.
8 should be fine.
Alright.
Wednesday, 8 is fine.
I'll try and adjust my schedule to get.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sir.
So is it this week Wednesday or which one?
Yeah, this week Wednesday.
Oh, okay. That would be nice.
Let's just wait till 8:20, then we'll just start. Can't keep waiting forever. Yeah, there was somebody I was telling. Who was I telling? I would show how to make your project and keep them in case of.
I
Who said I?
only.
That I only. Okay. So do you know how to make use of GitHub? Have you used GitHub before?
GitHub. No, I've not used it before, but I used to hear about it. I've not used it before.
Okay, even if you don't want to use GitHub, coming. screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Please, I'm coming. Give me some minutes. All right. Please confirm you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So today we'll be talking about something we call cybersecurity frameworks. Now, as cybersecurity personnel, it is very important and very necessary that we understand the cybersecurity frameworks that we have. So let's go. All right, so the cybersecurity framework is a set of guidelines, standards, and best practices designed to help organizations manage cybersecurity risks. It provides a structured approach to identifying, protecting, detecting, responding to, and recovering from cyber threats. So cybersecurity framework, now what this is all about is that there are organizations already set up by international bodies and also by your country to help with guidelines and standards that you must follow for you to manage cybersecurity risks in your organization. They provide structured approach to identifying, protecting, and detecting threats. Now, there are organizations whereby people that have come across, or organizations that have come across different threats, they report those threats to those organizations, or probably after they have done investigation on a particular threat or a particular attack, they report it to some organizations. So those organizations tend to put it out there for other organizations to learn from. And they've also set up some particular frameworks and guidelines that organizations can follow so they don't become victims of cyber attacks. So that is what cybersecurity framework is all about. So we have, why are frameworks important? Now, first, standardization ensures a consistent security posture across industry. So it ensures a consistent security posture, that is, the organization, at least we know to an extent, they are secured if they follow these frameworks. Then we have risk management, helps in identifying and mitigating cybersecurity risk. That is, these frameworks also helps in identifying and mitigating some cybersecurity risk. Then we have compliance. Now, it also assists organizations in meeting regulatory and legal obligations. Now, as organizations that deal with personal data or deal with customers' data or people's data, there are some compliances they are supposed to follow. Now, this cybersecurity framework also helps them to be able to understand these regulations and also the legal obligations of handling personal data or people's data. And we have communication, provides a common language for cybersecurity professionals and stakeholders. That is, it provides a common language in the sense that cybersecurity professionals will be able to understand that, okay, this is what this is for, this is what this is for. So it will make everybody have a clear understanding of what some particular things are meant for. Now we have key cybersecurity frameworks. So the first one we'll be talking about is the NIST. Now, this is an international institute. So the full name is National Institute of Standards and Technology. That is the full meaning of NIST. Now, the country of origin, United States. Use case, applicable to all sectors, government, private, critical infrastructure. Now, we have the core components. First, identify, that is, understand your assets, data, and risks. Secondly, protect, implement safeguards, e.g., firewalls, encryption. Then they have detect, set up tools and procedures to identify cyber incidents. Then respond, plan how to contain and minimize the effects of incidents. Then recover, restore capabilities and services after an attack. So this NIST framework now, if you go into their website, they have journals where you can read and understand all these components, core components that we're talking about. So inside the NIST, they teach you how to identify some certain assets, data and risk, then also how to make sure that you are using firewalls, encrypting your data. They just enlighten you on some standards that you should follow as an organization that is handling sensitive data or people's data. So they also teach you how to respond to plan, how to also recover from an attack. So if you go through that journal, you would be able to understand some of the things that they put out there for people to understand some certain standards that are being set already for them to follow. Then we have the second one, we have the ISO 27001. So this is International Organization for Standardization. Now, use case, information security management, global standard recognized internationally, key elements, risk-based approach. Organizations must assess and treat information security risk. ISMS establishes controls and policies to manage information securely. Certification available. Organizations can get certified for compliance. Now, this is also another framework. Now, what these ones deal with is they deal with risk-based approach, whereby organizations must assess and treat information security risks. That is, there are some risks that organizations must be able to treat in the proper way. So this is what this framework is all about. Establishes controls and policies to manage information securely. Now, they also teach and ensure that you have policies that will ensure you manage information securely. Now, organizations can actually get certificates from this ISO organization, whereby after they've checked the organization and see that you are compliant to all the standards, then you can receive a certificate to show that your organization is compliant to data security. Now, these certificates are actually very well recognized as an organization. If you have an ISO certificate, it shows that customers can trust you with their data because you are complying to the data security standardization. Then we also have another framework. We have the CIS Controls, formerly known as SANS, full name Center of Internet Security Controls. Now, use case, tactical prioritized set of cybersecurity actions for organizations. Industry targets all sizes and sectors. Then we have top controls include inventory of assets and software, secure configuration of hardware and software, continuous vulnerability management, controlled use of administrative privileges, data protection and recovery processes. Now, what the CIS is all about, as you can see from what I just read, what this particular framework does is if you also read their journal, you will see stuff on secure configuration and hardware and software, continuous vulnerability management, that is, they would make sure you ensure that you manage your vulnerabilities properly. Then controlled use of administrative privileges, that is, administrative privileges has to do with, we have different types of privilege accounts. We have the administrative privilege. We have as a normal worker, you should have your own, privilege accounts are actually meant for administrative uses. So now you should be able to control the use of administrative privileges, because if an hacker should actually get hold of an administrative account, just know that the organization is going to hear it, because For instance, now in an organization, it is always advisable that you have, especially for instance, if you are using Microsoft 365, it is always advisable that you have at most 3 administrative privileges on that account, that is admin privileges on that account, so it will not, the vulnerability will not be too high. Then we have another one, we have COBIT, is control objectives for information and related technologies. Now we have their focus: IT governance, control and audit. Use case: enterprises aligning business goals with IT processes. Key domains: evaluate, direct and monitor. Then we have align, plan and organize. Build, acquire and implement. Deliver, service and support. Monitor, evaluate and assess. So the COBIT framework, these are all what you will find in their journals, what they would make you understand and enlighten you about if you are starting up an organization. Now we have the PCI DSS, is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Now, what this framework is all about is, now this framework guides all organizations that make use of any form of card payment, be it a bank or any financial institution. Once that organization makes use of card payment, then PCI DSS is one of the frameworks you must try and align with, so you don't get your legality is ascertained. Now, their scope: secure handling of credit and debit card data. That is, their framework helps you to secure, as an organization that deals with cards, it helps you to secure your credit and debit card data. Now, required by all entities processing card holder data. So any organization, like I just said earlier, any organization that holds card data, card information, for instance, now you are using a particular bank, your card details are being held by that organization, which is your card data. So they must follow the PCI DSS framework, so they would be able to secure your data well, because any breach to your data, you can actually sue that organization. For instance, if you're as a customer to an organization that uses card payments, if your data should leak out, you can actually sue the organization. So for the organization not to fall prey of stuff like that, they need to follow this framework, which is the PCI DSS, to ensure they secure your card details well. Now, one of the 12 core requirements, we have install firewalls, so use strong passwords, encrypt card holder data, maintain secure systems, implement access controls, monitor and test networks. So if you go through the journal, these are all the things they will elaborate on as an organization that is holding that is making use of card payments. Now, we also have the meter attack framework. Now, meter, can you guys still hear me? Hope I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
All right. So we have the meter attack framework. The purpose: threat intelligence, red teaming, detection. Now, structure: tactics, what the attacker is trying to achieve. Example: initial access. Techniques: how they do it, e.g. spear phishing, credential dumping. Sub-techniques: more granular variations, mitigations and detections, how to stop or detect them. Now, this meter framework, we are actually going to check their website for you to try and understand what they do. Now, the meter framework is just like, it's also a framework whereby a lot of cybersecurity professionals come to discuss about breaches or professional ethics, whereby they have different attacks that have occurred in the past. Now, what they do in in this framework, if you go through that journal, is that they have all the separate attacks, different attacks that have been reported to them or have occurred in the past whereby they have access to. Now they will describe these attacks to you, give you how you can mitigate against this attack, and they will also show you how the bad guys were able to do it, or how the hackers were able to do it, so you also know how to mitigate against them. Probably we should quickly check their site. I went. There. Okay, this is their website. So you look at, hope you can see my screen clearly. So you look at something like this now. So these are different methods of attacks that they are written on. Now let's try, let's say, what should we try now? Let's see data filtration. Data filtration over alternate protocol. Now, as you can see, they would give you a description. They will give you a description of that kind of attack. Then they will give you the procedures that they made use of, that the attacker used for such. Then they will give you mitigations that you can use to tackle something like that. Then also detection, how you can detect such attack. So this is what a framework is like. So as cybersecurity personnel, this site should be like one of your favorite sites where you can check different kind of attacks that have happened and how to mitigate against it. So let's look at internal spear phishing. So after already, I told you spear phishing is like sending a phishing attack to somebody that you have done reconnaissance on. For instance, an attacker wants to attack a particular person using phishing. Now, what the attacker does first is that the attacker would do a full reconnaissance on you, know all the things you like, the sites you visit, just do a general reconnaissance on you so that he would be able to design a phishing link or a phishing mail that will suit whatever you like. So you won't have a change of thought just clicking it once. For instance, now probably through his reconnaissance, he goes through your social media pages and realize that you like dogs, or you like, as ladies, you like cheap wigs, or you post about wigs, you post about bags, you post about different things. Now, an attacker could actually design a phishing email, maybe just saying puts a nice bag there, and you say this bag is going for a very cheap amount. Just you seeing it, you won't even read the content or try to investigate the mail. Before you know it, you've clicked the link, and voila, the attacker already has access to. So that is what spear phishing is all about. So this is an internal spear phishing. So they said after they already have access to accounts or system within the environment, adversaries may use internal spear phishing to gain access to additional information or compromise other users within the same organization. So internal spear phishing is a multi-stage campaign where a legitimate account is initially compromised either by controlling the user's device or by compromising the account credentials of the user. Adversaries may then attempt to take advantage of the trusted internal accounts to increase the likelihood of tricking more victims into falling for phish attempts, often incorporating. So what this means is probably when an attacker has already gained access to one of the user's accounts, so he tries to use that account to convince others. If an email is coming from one of the employees, might be hard to detect. So this is what they mean by internal spear phishing. So they say, for example, adversaries may leverage spear phishing attachment or spear phishing link as part of the internal spear phishing to deliver a payload or direct to an internal site to capture credentials through input capture on sites that mimic login interfaces. So we have procedural examples. So these are some of the people that have actually submitted their ideas about this particular attack. So this particular company has used an Outlook VBA module on infected systems to send phishing emails with malicious attachments to other employees within the organization. So I think this one is an attack using Microsoft 365. So maybe when the attacker gained access to one of the users, probably an admin or somebody that has an admin privilege, or just an ordinary user. Now he can use that account or that email to send phishing mails to other people in the organization, probably put input payload in the link or different viruses or malwares in the link. So these are different. So these are the mitigations. Okay, they said this type of attack technique cannot be easily mitigated with preventive controls since it is based on abuse of system features. That is, it has to do with abuse of system features. So it might not be easy to mitigate, but at least you can always detect. So monitor email gateways usually do not scan internal email, but an organization can leverage the journaling-based solution, which sends a copy of emails to a security service for offline analysis or incorporates service integrated solutions using on-premises or API-based integrations to help detect internal phishing attacks. So what they mean by that is there's something we call quarantine in Microsoft 365. So you can actually, as an admin, you can set some particular labels to a particular mail, probably saying if a mail has a particular word in it or is designed in a particular way, or you probably have an email that you've seen that looks like an attacking email. Now you can use that kind of label to give your rules. Now to set your rules. So saying if you see something, an email that is like this, just send the mail to quarantine. So only a cybersecurity personnel can have access to that quarantine, whereby he checks the mail first to see if it is a malicious mail before allowing it to enter or go to the respective receiver of the mail. So that is what they mean by that. So as you can see, they give you different detection, different ways to detect. So that goes for all these types of attacks. As you can see, there's a lot here. So in your spare time, you can always go through them for you to know how different attacks happened and how you can mitigate against those kinds of attack. All right, so let us continue. So we've been talking about international frameworks also. We don't forget our country. So in Nigeria too, we also have cybersecurity frameworks. So the first one we have the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy, NCPS. Now their purpose provides a national blueprint for cybersecurity across public and private sectors. Now strategic pillars: enhancing national capacity for cybersecurity, promoting cybersecurity awareness and skills, strengthening legal and regulatory frameworks, developing incident response capabilities, protecting critical information infrastructure. Now, why it matters for Nigerians? The NCPS sets Nigeria's direction on digital protection, critical infrastructure defense, and incident coordination. Understanding it is a key for cybersecurity careers within governments, banks, telcos, and national security sectors. So this is one of the Nigerian cybersecurity frameworks, whereby if you also go through their sites and go through their journals, you'll be able to understand some ways you can actually set up your organization environment in a secure way. Then we also have the Nigeria Data Protection Act, NDPA, managed by the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. Purpose: regulates how personal data is collected, stored, and processed and transferred. Core principles: lawful processing of personal data, data subject rights, obligations of data controllers / processors, mandates data protection officers, then breach notification requirements. So this is also another cybersecurity framework in Nigeria. Now, if you also go through their journal and go through their sites, you will be able to have a clear understanding of what their framework is all about. Now, what all these frameworks just does is it helps you to be able to standardize your organization in a way that you are not going against the law and you are actually following a full security standard in your organization. So all these frameworks are just a set of guidelines to guide the organization. Okay, as an organization, I'm handling this particular data, I'm handling this particular data. How do I actually handle it? Because according to some of the frameworks, you would be able to understand that there are some customer data that you should not keep more than a certain amount of years before you actually dispose of them. There are ways to go about that. So when you go through all these frameworks, you'll be able to understand a lot of things about how to keep your organization standardized and make sure your customers or people's data are actually secure. Because if you actually go against any of those acts or any of those standardizations, you could actually be going against the law and could actually land you in trouble. So let's look at one coming. So now we also have what is that? This is one project I did one time. So we also have the GDPR. This one is an organization set up by the European Union. So it protects or it guides all countries under the EU and protects their data rights. So we have the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Now applies to organizations that process personal data of individuals in the European Union, regardless of the organization's location. It aims to give individuals greater control over their personal data and unify EU data protection laws. GDPR applies to data controllers and processors, including businesses, non-profits, and public institutions that handle personal data. Example: names, emails, IPs, biometrics, and lots more. So what GDPR does is that they protect people against getting their data leaked by organizations. So under the GDPR law, if you go through their laws also, or their constitution, let me say, if you go through their laws also, you'll be able to understand what you can actually do as a customer if your data is being leaked by an organization. A lot of organizations actually pay heavily when they get an attack on the organization and their data of customers are leaked out. They sue them heavily and they pay heavily for such. So for you not to be able to fall victim of such, you have to follow those frameworks so you can secure people's data, so they don't sue you. So now we have standard research overview. Now this is like a compliance checklist table where you can use for an organization. So we have data collection requirements, lawful basis for processing personal data. Now actionable step: identifying lawful basis. Example: consent, contracts, legal regulation for all data processing activities. status not started. So you can actually, this is a compliance checklist you can help your organization with. So the first one is data collection. How does your organization collect data? Now, these are the actionable steps that you can take to know how your organization collects data. Then you put the status there. If it has started, or if they started doing it, you put started or in progress. Then data subject rights. These are all compliance checklists that you can run your organization through to know if they're actually complying with the GDPR law. We also have data transfer. How do you transfer data? Now, implement standard contractual clauses or other legal safeguards for international data transfer. So this is like a compliance list table whereby you can always run through the organizations to help them check if they're actually complying with the GDPR laws. So that is all we have for today on cybersecurity frameworks. So you could actually make your research, read about these laws. It is very, very, very important as cybersecurity personnel. You can read about these frameworks and know how to secure your organizations.